Welcome to Oilers Nation Everyday with your hosts, Tyler and Liam.
Oh, man, time to put together my Christmas wish list. I want a goalie, that's for sure. We can do depth players that score. Yeah, depth players that score. Nurse to waive his no movement clause. That's got to go on the list. Santa, what do you think my chances are of getting all this?
Fat chance.
Let's get into it with the lead. Liam should have worn the Santa beard. I stand by that.
There is no beard.
We should have found one. Should have found one, Liam.
Can't wear what we don't have.
Welcome into Oilers Nation Everyday. We are live from the Sports Closet Studio. Just 2 days left in their 25th anniversary sale. So enter online or in-store by making a purchase of $100 or more. Simple as that. We're also a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. Are we all riding together on Lions -3 today?
Oh, no. We're riding together on Gibbs touchdown.
I also am relatively heavily invested in Lions -3.
Montgomery touchdown right there. We could have used Gibbs.
There's lots of time. Lots of time.
They'll be fine. Maybe.
Yeah.
Probably not. They have no players left.
Yeah, everybody's hurt. Everybody's dead. All right. Anyways, welcome into the show, everybody. YouTube chat alive and well as always. We got some juicy rumors to get to today. We're also going to be joined by our pal Zach Laing in a little bit. He's going to swing by at 12:30 to talk with us about, a whole bunch of things with Zach Laing. We'll get to the goalie rumors. We'll get to all of that stuff. Waiver news today. Montreal Canadiens claimed Sammy Blais off waivers from the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Just want all those scraps from Toronto, don't they?
Yeah.
They do realize Toronto sucks.
Toronto is closer to the basement than Montreal. Anyways, we'll talk about some of the rumors that are floating around right now because there are some rumors floating around right now. Zach will join us. We'll get to a little bit of what's trending. Probably a bit of a calmer show than yesterday, I think.
Yeah, I would assume so. The Oilers didn't play, so that should calm everybody down.
Well, yeah, there's no loss to complain about or whatever, but yeah. Chandler's in and says, checking in during U.S. Thanksgiving, and we get Santa on ON every day? Freaking unreal.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to all of our American viewers, yes. I hope you're all having a great Thursday. Hope you're enjoying the time off. So, yeah. Darcy's in said, I don't miss many shows. Yesterday, I was just too sad for another beatdown. I think yesterday might have been one of our best shows ever, and the reviews are in. Maynard sent us a nice tweet, which I appreciated.
Yeah, a few other people in the YouTube said it was our greatest show.
Yeah.
Which is nice to hear.
It was also a show where we had 3 guests. So is the equation less Tyler and Liam equals better show?
Some people would say yes.
Yeah.
Others would say no.
Yeah. I see someone dropped it in the chat. Yes, we will talk about the injury at practice today as well. Bad news if you're a Kasperi Kapanen or a Kasperi Kapanen supporter. We also got a comment in here that I liked. I was really early on. Dacky, just in time to get called a loser by Tyler again. Nice. Wasn't loser. Called you guys idiots.
Yeah.
Get it right.
There's a difference.
I stand by what I'm kidding.
Today should be a lot better. But stranger things have happened.
Listen, I'm kind of sitting on
Liam, Tyler doesn't get how good that was right there. Stranger things dropped yesterday.
There'll be many. I'll be turning his world upside down.
Oh, another one.
Well, will it happen?
Oh, the third.
Coming soon.
All right, show's back to you, Tyler. Show's back.
I don't watch that TV show, so I don't know what you guys are talking about. Yeah.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
It's a great show.
Do we want to go I think we should start with what Rashog had from practice.
I think that's probably a good one, yeah.
It's a little bit of breaking news from Oilers Skate today. Ryan Rashog of TSN and Got Your Back sending out a tweet that, there was hope that Kasperi Kapanen would be able to return to the lineup this Saturday, but Rashog puts out a video of Kasperi Kapanen who seemed to have hurt himself, and as he's leaving the ice for practice, he blew up the stick rack. That seems like a guy who is maybe frustrated that he re-aggravated an injury, Liam.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way. It's too bad. I think they said it was the last drill of the practice as well. And tough for a guy that looked like he was going to come back and play on Saturday. And I think the Oilers kind of need someone like him in the lineup right now. A little bit of speed out there too. Mm-hmm. It's too bad. And now he has to go and do the autograph session at West End.
Yeah, that's a tough one. People already in line, by the way, for that autograph session tonight.
Yeah.
Couldn't be me. But anyways, I just don't like sitting in a lawn chair for that long. That's my only problem with it.
And credit to those people that sat there and also brought lawn chairs.
Shout out Northside Norm.
Northside Norm is in the mix.
You never know when the roof's going to fall.
If you're in the line right now and you're watching our show, hopefully we make the next hour and a half of your waiting go by quickly.
Yeah, I think they start coming out at 6.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, whose line would you go in?
Whose line would I go in? The Oilers.
Leon and McDavid are out of it.
Yeah. I'm pulling up. I think did they not share the chart for where everyone is? Yeah, they did. Okay.
Yeah.
So here, I'll read them off for you. Group 1, Clattenburg, Hyman, and Philp.
It's not a bad line.
Group 2, Pickard, Skinner. Group 3, Ekholm, Kapanen, and Kulak. I don't think Kapanen will be there. Group 4, Freddie, Henrique, and Savoy.
Oh, that's a good trio.
Group 5, just McDavid. Group 6, Emberson, Lazar, and Nugent Hopkins. Group 7, Janmark, Mangiapane, and David Tomashek.
It's the shortest line.
Yeah. Group 8, Nurse, Podkolzin, and Wallman. That's a loaded one. Why didn't they
Nurse, Podkolzin, Wallman?
They had put one of those guys with Tomashek, Mangiapane, and Janmark.
Yeah, that's a good line.
Bush with Regula and Roslovic. Probably wanted to put one of those guys in Group 7 as well.
Who was with Regula, sorry?
Bush and Roslovic.
It's a good line.
And then Draisaitl. I'd pick Group 1, Clattenburg, Hyman, Philp.
Yeah, I'd go with that one, or I'd go with the Podkolzin one, Group 8.
Yeah, Nurse, Podkolzin, and Wallman. That seems pretty good. And I feel like you wouldn't have to wait in those lines all day either. I feel like those are lines. You could probably hit both those groups today.
I wonder if there's a way you can get to like multiple groups in one session. Mm-hmm. I'm honestly, I've never been. I don't really know how it all works.
Well, we have the map here, Liam. So you'd start at 1. You moved it.
Yeah, but you definitely ain't moving to 5. I also heard McDavid kicked out Santa Claus. That's where Santa Claus usually goes. And
our on the scene reporter Matt Wozniak had that information earlier today.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Anyways, there's probably all the talk we'll do about the autograph session. There are more pressing needs, Liam.
Yeah, I think we'll have more news on that tomorrow.
Yeah.
After the event is concluded.
Mm-hmm. And then a week from now, when the Edmonton Oilers all have the flu, we'll point back to this event and be like, this happens every year.
Sorry, someone pointed out, I think this is correct. Could be wrong, though. When they did this a couple of years ago, it was after they lost those back-to-back games against Vancouver to start the season. I believe it was like right around that time.
So they did it earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Interesting. We got a super chat for the Ben Stelter Foundation. Shout out to our friends over at the Ben Stelter Foundation. If you missed it earlier in the week, we had Mike on, told us everything they're doing with the foundation right now. We gave them our grand total donation, which was right around $10,000. Crazy that's how many super chats you guys gave in. Also, shame on YouTube for taking such a large cut of your super chats, even when it's for donations.
Yeah, there should be a charity component in that.
Like, if we prove to them that we're donating to charity, I feel like YouTube shouldn't take that high of a cut. Also,
No.
I feel like YouTube shouldn't take any cut at all, considering they play ads.
Yeah.
That's wild. The more I think about that, the more pissed off I am. But
Yeah.
anyways, we
but
do love
don't
your
ban
guys'
us,
super
YouTube.
chats. Nonetheless, Rusty is in, says, happy Thanksgiving, boys. I am thankful for the ON community this year. Thank you all for the great content and the community that you have built. Rusty, thank you for tuning in as much as you do. Oh, I thought maybe you're going to
Sorry, I thought you were just going to carry on. Yeah, Rusty's
I'll
a great
carry on.
listener. A lot of Thanksgiving listeners today. I'm glad you were able to spend some time with us.
Brownie says, happy U.S. Thanksgiving to American Oiler fanatics. I'd be thankful if I was living in Canada, but alas, I am not. I feel you.
Careful, people don't like political views, Tyler.
Yep.
Careful, you're not allowed to voice your opinions.
Let's talk a little bit, Liam. Let's go rumor mill. Because I think this is...
We were on watch last night.
Yeah, we were. We not fully on call, but we were ready to stream. And here's what when the really, really big name insiders say things, they aren't saying it for funsies. I think that is something that, as you and I have, we've had relationships with these guys in the past. We've had a bunch of them on our shows. Like, if they're going to come on and I'll call it definitive speculation, not like throwing out trades or being like, I think these 3 teams are interested in a guy. But when it's a little bit more direct, I think you can kind of say, yeah, they know something. Think about last week. Elliotte Friedman, sorry, not to cut you off. Elliotte Friedman hinted, wonder if the Oilers call up Connor Clattenburg. And you're like, Why is a national level insider speculating on a guy the Oilers could call up who has 1 goal in 15 games? And sure as shit, 2-3 days later, look who comes up from the minors. It's Connor Clattenburg. So on that note, here's what Elliotte Friedman had to say in his most recent 32 Thoughts blog from last night. Point number 3. I don't like to overreact to one game. For Edmonton, this is more than one game. After Tuesday's 8-3 Dallas destruction, the Oilers have no choice but to ask themselves if it's time to trade Stuart Skinner for their benefit and his. I think that slight little change in the narrative is very, very important in all of this. For their benefit and his. Is Skinner worn down by all of this? Are the Oilers finally at their wits' end with the goaltending? He goes, I understood their philosophy. Again, speaking in past tense here, I understood their philosophy. Don't waste resources on a lateral move because with the limited chips you have, you might only get one shot as being right. Friedman also dropped my favorite line that goes, like my grandmother always said, you plan, God laughs. Has a bunch of numbers about how the Oilers are not good in front of their goalies. Teammates love Calvin Pickard, yes. And then here's another one. Keep in mind, he's using the past tense verbiage. One of the reasons the Oilers wanted it to work so badly is Skinner's budget-friendly $2.6 million AAV in a tight cap situation. They felt very strongly that they had to know they were getting a guaranteed upgrade to give up on that. Now you have to ask yourself, are you losing by not trying to come out even? Is there a situation where you feel someone will be rejuvenated in Edmonton like Skinner might be elsewhere? The other question you have to ask, will a change lift our team? Is it weighing on them too? All of these questions coming in the paragraph where we are talking about Stuart Skinner, not in the paragraph where we're talking about Calvin Pickard. Very, very interesting. Point 4 also relates to the Oilers' goaltending. Nick Kypreos stirred up a hornet's nest in his trade board by suggesting Jordan Binnington could end up on the Oilers. I strongly suspect Edmonton can't trade for Binnington without his permission, even if St. Louis wanted to do it. I believe Jordan Binnington as the Oilers on his no-trade list. So,
yeah, Elliotte.
Another factor in all of this, I guess.
Elliotte went on to Bob's show yesterday and said he didn't know that, but the way people were talking to him, it made it seem like it was pretty much Edmonton was on that list. So, hey, you never know. Like, crazier things have happened. So, I wouldn't be that surprised if the Oilers made a trade and Binnington was like, you know what, I'll go. But the Jarry one has become very interesting. Obviously, former All King. I believe he lives in Sherwood Park in the summer.
I was of that belief a number of years ago. I don't know as of right now, but there was a point not long ago Tristan Jarry called Edmonton home in the offseason.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in saying that as well. He's had a good bounce-back season for Pittsburgh.
Very impressive.
9-14 this season.
Yep.
The stat everyone loves to go to. Goals saved above expected is a 1.40, which is obviously better than Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard. He's by no means a superstar goalie. Is he an upgrade? I would think probably a little bit right now with just the way both goalies are playing. The money is obviously going to be a factor. He makes, what is it, $5.3 million, if I'm not mistaken, for a few more years. So I think that's part of it all as well. So it'll be a difficult trade to think of, but I think Stuart Skinner's got to go in it one way or another.
55 goalies in the NHL this season have played at least 7 games. Goals saved above expected, according to Natural Stat Trick. Jarry ranks 16th out of those 55 goalies. It's pretty good numbers. He's putting up some solid numbers. Last year was obviously tough. He cleared through waivers. I do think, again, a big product of that was just the fact of his cap hit, right? Pittsburgh maybe wanted to see if some team would take a stab on it. Mm-hmm. Last year was really bad, but he is also 30 years old. And if you go read his save percentages from the years that weren't last season, so again, 914 this year, 893 last year. 893 is bad.
Yeah.
Granted, the Oilers had a couple of 893s. 903, 909, 919, 909, 921 were his 5 years before that. And those are the years where he was either 1B or a bona fide starter. I think they're going to do this at some point.
I'm pretty confident it's going to happen too.
Just reading the tea leaves the way that we are, you have Rashog, who we'll mention again on Bob's show yesterday. And Liam, you heard it, so I didn't. But he seemed pretty definitive Stuart Skinner's not finishing the year here.
Yeah, he made it seem like a move was gonna happen. And he did point out, is like, if things kind of continue to go so poorly, and they are going poorly at the end of the day. So there's obviously changes that need to come in front of the goaltending too, whoever it is. The Oilers do need to play better. There's no doubt about it. But there's a lot of smoke right now of the conversation that people have had. There's no denying. People have said it in our chat, like, are the players tired of him? Not Skinner's personality, of course. I think we can all agree from what we see, Skinner's a good person. Calvin Pickett the same. But their play on the ice is maybe dictating a lot of what is happening for the Oilers as well, which is really too bad. But it seems just a bit inevitable that this is going to go down at some point. I would not be that shocked if it happened today. There was a lot of smoke last night, but Jarry was playing.
Yeah, Jarry was playing in the game, and Jarry had himself a hell of a hockey game as
31
well.
saves.
So yeah, there's like Kevin Weeks had the tweet too, and I mean Kevin Weeks, as much as we kind of poke fun about his like ominous skyline things, and he's always tweeting about expansion, he does get a lot of shit right. And for him to be here and saying, from Kevin Weeks, I'm told 2-time All-Star goaltender Tristan Jarry is among the goalies drawing significant interest as a potential option for the Edmonton Oilers. Keep in mind, he played in Edmonton with the Oil Kings. #HockeyX. Thank you, Kevin.
Does anybody else tweet hockey?
No, God, no. I might start.
Well, get on his trend. Yeah, join the club.
And maybe, listen, this autograph session thing, like, shit, if you're the Oilers, you should have done it last night. But, like, maybe they're waiting till tomorrow for this to all come down the pipe.
Would Stuart Skinner pull a Logan Thompson? So for those of you who don't know, when Logan Thompson was traded from the Las Vegas Golden Knights, he had an autograph session that afternoon, and he went to the autograph session knowing he had been traded.
Different because it was the offseason, I think.
Maybe.
I don't think Stuart Skinner's going. And that was also an upper deck autograph thing.
Was it different
it wasn't
than
like a
Vegas?
Golden Knights team thing.
Yeah, maybe.
QF Pro just dropped in $10. We'll get to that in a second because that's good information, actually. We might be able to fix our problem. I don't know, man. I like to think I've observed the insider game long enough to kind of know that when this much stuff is getting out, there's smoke here. It's not a coincidence that within, an hour and a half, both Weeks and Friedman had some pretty harsh speculation, and then Rashog said what he said. I think we're at the end of the Stuart Skinner era, and that sucks for me. Like, I feel for him. A career in Edmonton that started with a lot of promise, and we don't need to eulogize it now because, again, there's no guarantee that this happens. But, like, if this deal ends up going down the pipe, I will feel legitimately sad.
Why would you feel sad?
Because it was supposed to work.
Interesting. I wouldn't feel sad at all. No, I want Stuart Skinner to be a good Oiler. I wanted him to be a good Oiler. He's been a good Oiler, but at the end of the day, sometimes you just know when time is up. It's like when you have a girlfriend and you're like, hey, like, I love you, but how much? What are we doing here?
Yeah, you know you're getting to the dead end. You tried real hard to make it work, and it's like there's nothing here anymore.
Skinner's lost the fan base.
Yes, and you wonder if he's lost the room. I think that's a totally fair question to ask after reading the Friedman article.
Yeah, it probably is fair. I just think it's probably good for him to go and get a fresh start.
I think it is too.
If it's, and again, we're kind of talking like it's already happened. Nothing's happened yet, of course. But if it was, I just think he would literally need to have a perfect season the rest of the way for him to turn this fan base around.
Well, and even that might not be enough.
No, it might not be enough. Like, we had someone comment on one of our videos today who was like, it's not a goalie problem. Mm-hmm. Nurse and Bouchard are the only problems.
Only.
And it's just like stuff like this. It's just like, you just know, like, people aren't turning back in the favor of these guys. You can throw every positive statistic in a direction, not just on Skinner, but on anyone. And people don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They don't care. Like, people don't look back at that Game 7 and think, oh, if the Oilers had just scored 3 goals, they would have won. They'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe Skinner allowed that second goal.
Yeah.
Like, people don't look at the Game 6 from this past year and be like, oh, Skinner allowed 6. Like, the Oilers scored once. They showed no signs of offense for basically 4 games. I know they ended up winning the overtime, but even that one was a dull game. But it was all the goalie's fault. And I get it. Last line of defense, you need them to make stops. Skinner needs to make stops. But there's just a lot going wrong with his team right now, and the goalies get piled on it. And people are on one side, people are on the other, and that's it.
Yeah. Josh says, it's going to break my heart to see Skinner become a top 10, top 5 goalie somewhere else, but at this point, I don't think it's ever going to happen here. And I think that's kind of the point that the organization is getting to, where like I think they know it's not going to happen here. And like Friedman kind of says, for a while this summer, you could argue, I think the Oilers really pushed back on the idea of making a lateral move for the sake of change, right? Yeah. At the end of the day, this goaltending duo, you can look at it as a fact. They brought this team to 2 Stanley Cup finals. With these goalies, they came within a combined 3 wins of winning a Stanley Cup. And even if the Oilers maybe knew deep down at some point this season, which I think we all kind of did, they would need someone better to play with Stuart Skinner, I don't think anyone, even the most pessimistic of Oilers fans, could have envisioned the goaltending being this bad. Like, we just laughed. Like, Tristan Jarry in 893 last year. What a bad season. Stuart Skinner was in the 890s last year. What a bad season. Like, I mean, Skinner was 896 last year. I'd do anything for 896 right now, right? Like, 896, you probably have 2 more wins this season. So, it's also frustrating, almost very similar for me when they fired Jay Woodcroft. Like, I understood why they were firing Jay Woodcroft. I could wrap my head around making the move for Knobloch. There was maybe a few more layers to that whole situation, but it was like very apparent that year, if the goalies had played better, they weren't making a coaching change. They do. It ends up working out for the better. Chris Knobloch's here, and I like Chris Knobloch. And like, if a deal ends up happening and Tristan Jarry ends up becoming an Edmonton Oiler, I'm going to give Tristan Jarry my full support. And you know what? I don't think that's a bad trade. We'll get into the cap logistics and all of that in a little bit, but like, I don't know, man. It's just, there's something about it where it's like the storyline of Stuart Skinner being the hometown goalie, the hometown kid who backstops this team to a cup final. He was one game away from doing that. Young, 26. It felt like for a moment in time, that rookie season when he had a .915 save percentage or whatever it was.
Found something.
Found something.
Totally.
Even last year against Vegas and Dallas when he was ripping off shutouts like they were nothing, it was like, okay, like Stuart Skinner's in the zone here. This is going to be a different Stanley Cup final. It was supposed to work out better than this. And sports aren't a fairy tale. They aren't scripted. You don't get to write a good ending or whatever. But like, I feel bad that this didn't work. Like, this should have been a long-term partnership. The Oilers should have had their guy to get them to multiple Stanley Cups. And the fact it fell apart like this, again, going back to that rookie season, just crazy it fell apart the way that it did.
Yeah, it is too bad. It is too bad. And I think they'll pull the Colorado. I think Pickett will be gone too.
Yeah, I think they're both gone.
I think they just need to move on, and I think he just is what it is. And Ingram will come up, Pickett will go down. Will he get claimed? Will he not? I don't know. We'll find out. But I don't think he would get claimed if I'm thinking correctly.
Pickard? He will not get claimed.
I don't think he would either.
No shot.
So it is what it is. People are saying they need to go and get a defenseman now too. They just need to play defense. Their defense is fine on paper. They just need to start playing. I always love the stat when it's like, and people scream it from the rooftops. When the Oilers get 900 goaltending, they win games.
Yeah, so does every fucking team.
Yeah, because they fucking play defense in front of their goalies.
Well, that too.
It's a big difference. And there's been games, absolutely there has been games this season. Washington is a recent example of like, they didn't get a save.
Yeah,
They needed a save. And their offense was poor, and their defense wasn't perfect that night by any means, but it wasn't as horrendous as it seemed. And they didn't get a save. But there's been other examples of like, oh, the defense showed up and their goaltending played well. So crazy. But they need goalies to bail them out too, and I don't think Skinner does that often enough.
Someone says, why not try Ingram before trading? Like you just said, and I agree with you. They're doing both.
I just think they're going to do both. Like, what's the point in waiting?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and I do think, like, if there is any truth to the idea, that the room loves Pickard and maybe they've given up on Skinner, then trading Skinner almost doesn't send a message. It just lets the room off the hook.
Yeah,
it almost says, like, you know what? You guys are right. It is Stu's fault. Get him out of here. I think you have to do both in order to properly send a message to this team. Like, Pickard, again, and I would be upgrading on Pickard before I get rid of Skinner, but I just look at the cap logistics of, like, the Jarry thing, and it's like, Skinner has to go out the door to make that work.
Yeah, he does. He really does. Which is interesting in the sense of, like, the story of Jarry is, well, Pittsburgh have 3 goalies. was okay. Well, why would they want Stuart Skinner? You know what I mean? Like
He expires at the end of the year. It gives him a chance.
I understand all of that, but it's just like, are they just going to flip him again? Like, what is it? Where does his tail end? Where does the story go? Where does the quest go? Strange Things.
I don't understand what you're saying.
I don't think Pittsburgh will be his last stop, which also hilariously continues the Devin Dubnyk theory.
Oh, yeah. He's going to go to...
He just keeps going. He's going
to go to Pittsburgh, go somewhere else for half a season, wind up in... he'll end up in like Montreal next year, and he'll be unbelievable.
Oh, this guy's amazing.
Yeah.
I hope it works out for him. I do think sometimes, too, him being in Edmonton probably leaving Edmonton can be a good thing for him, too. Hometown guy, like, all this stuff. It can be important. Like, again, not to keep stealing things from Bob's show, but Friedman just brought up Mitch Marner. Very different players, of course. But, like, he left Toronto, and now he's thriving.
Yep. Anyways, so no trade, obviously. If there was news, we'd give it to you. But just a lot of things kind of point in one direction here with the Edmonton Oilers. They play on Saturday, and we will see who gets the start. I think there are a whole bunch of possibilities in that regard. I also, again, I brought this name up yesterday, and the more I kind of thought about and talked about it, I really like the Brossoit idea too.
I am very out on this idea.
Why?
Because he hasn't played. I think you're already running the risk of Ingram. I'm just not that far down the road yet where I want to explore a Laurent Brossoit idea.
Just when he's healthy, he's been so good.
Yeah, but that's the thing. He just hasn't been.
Yeah. But the idea that there was an issue that they solved with the hip, like, I don't know. Maybe he's got a little late career resurgence in him.
Maybe. I just think they're already in such a deep hole. Mm-hmm. What if it doesn't?
Yeah, then
I'm being a negative Nancy on it. I get it. But, like, just see if Ingram can give you anything first.
Totally. Like, I'm not doing the Brossoit thing until I try with Ingram. But if, like, again, it just could be an option come January. Yep. And we'll see.
Brossoit and Jarry probably was an Oil King duo. I would assume they cross paths.
Probably. Oil King reunion, yeah.
Anyone else we can get? I think Pisic's still playing.
They both lived in Sherwood Park. Fun fact.
They did. They were all Sal Sabres. Sail Sursum.
All right. Let's get to, you want to do some Spotify questions? Because we missed them yesterday.
Sure.
Spotify questions brought to you by the Jasper Pond Hockey Tournament. Head to nationgear.ca if you want to get in. I talked Start Mechanical might put in a team. A few listeners might put in a team. It is honestly one of my favorite weekends of the year. January 23rd to 25th out at the beautiful Fairmont Jasper Park Lodge. CHE Hockey puts on a great event. We're very happy to be a part of it. Playing hockey outside on a lake surrounded by the mountains. It does not get any better than that. We will give you all a fresh Spotify question, but for now, Aaron, do you want to pop up? The ones we do have? Are these?
This is from yesterday. Do you want to go back
21
to a different
comments.
episode?
Let's
do yesterday.
Yeah, let's do this, I guess.
Yeah.
This is fine. Sorry, everyone who commented the other day.
Yeah, whatever. That happens. Sometimes we miss them. We were busy yesterday.
We were busy. We went long.
Frederick is in and says, I actually like the Brossoit idea. I don't see a sensible way how the Oilers could acquire a big-name goalie in season, and I'd rather see them go out taking a bit of a gamble on someone like Brossoit than mutilating their roster for a Jordan Binnington. Great word. You have to do something, but I think for this season, with the cap situation in the summer in mind, try to get creative, or try a creative solution. Okay if you don't make the finals 3 years in a row. Go get Saros in the summer and win next year. And for the love of God, play some defense in front of whoever is in net. Any goalie change won't do shit for you if you don't play defense. I think that is a great point. That again, like, it's not. This almost reminds me a little bit of like the goalie coach situation last year, where it seemed like the narrative just got so out of hand that everyone was like, as soon as you trade the goalie coach, the goalies will be better. And then the goalies got significantly worse under a new goalie coach. And I just feel like everyone's just sitting there going, as soon as you get a new goalie, you're going to be the Colorado Avalanche and lose one game out of every 20. And it's like, there needs to be more than a goalie change here. They need a whole bunch of other things to improve.
I wonder if the goalie coach is at the point now where it's like, oh, these guys aren't fixable. You know what I mean? Like,
if he's 2 months into the job and is saying that is mildly concerning, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a theory of it, right? It's like, there's nothing we can do. These guys suck.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What do we got next here from Thomas? Before listening to this episode, I was ready to nuke the tandem and start trading defensemen not named Bouchard or Wallman. After listening to the boys talk it over and hearing the pro/con list, I arrive at this. Waiting is the best option. Stan would get fleeced in any situation involving a goalie trade. The Oilers are desperate, and everyone knows it. They have made long runs year after year. Wait for next year's cap space and a healthy squad. Pray like hell Stu picks it up in the meantime. I think they're just trending towards doing the panic trade. I think the temperature's getting way too high.
I also don't think they'll get robbed. I mean, Colorado is in a hell of a hole, and it didn't cost them a lot to get Blackwood.
No?
I don't know. Like, what is being
in the moment,
robbed?
it felt like a lot.
I don't think it's that much.
Doc, I agree. I think like Pittsburgh keeping half of Jarry, like you're still doing them a favor because they want to buy him out.
Exactly.
Dr. Matty, genuinely curious, why are there so few great or even good goalies? Is the position that much harder to play? Is it the lack of positions available on a team, meaning it's competitive from a younger age and so few players develop? Tell me why.
What was the part they said there about a younger age? I can't see it.
It's like basically every team only has, when you're a kid, there's 2 goalies, but there's 18 skaters or whatever, or 15 skaters, whatever the number is. So like it's harder to develop goalies because, limited ice time, all that stuff.
I'll tell you something. Not a lot of goalies in Alberta the last few years.
And that's a scout talking.
It's a position that is drying up because it's expensive.
Yeah, oh yeah.
A lot of kids can't afford to do it, and then it's also expensive in like minor hockey just in general. They're like adding goalie equipment on top of that is easier said than done. So I just think it's become a bit of a dying breed in Canada. Of course, there's always going to be goalies that come through. There's no doubt about it. But like, it's probably not as competitive as it used to be.
Yeah, I agree. White boy, and we're going to get to Zach in a little bit as you'll see him walking right behind me here. But Zach's our guest today. We'll get to him after we finish reading the Spotify comments. White boy with a fade. What a name.
It's a sick name.
The Oilers could have had a 29-year-old goalie with an average goals against, or with a GAA of under 3 and a save percentage of over 900, but Bowman, of course, wouldn't go after what was a clear upgrade. That's right. Alexander Georgiev could have solved all our problems. Right, guys? I think he's in the KHL now.
I think
he is.
That is a joke.
I know.
I just want people to realize.
Kenton is in. Everyone needs to remember that a goalie is only as good as the players in front of them. And the Oilers are playing with no heart and no grit in front of Skinner. The only way to make a shift in player mentality right now is to make a goalie change, but there's no options for starters that make sense. Binnington is slightly better than Skinner. Saros is too expensive and everyone else is on contract. So take a gamble on Ingram, Brossoit, or Talbot for Pickard. Just trial Ingram and see what happens. They followed up. Did they clear up anything there? Have the Oilers lost faith in Skinner's ability? If so, trial Ingram and see what he does here. Yeah, I like the idea of just trialing Ingram and seeing what you have. We talked to Doobie yesterday. Sometimes goalies are more built for the NHL game than the American League game. So, yeah, I would have Ingram up before I make a panic trade. That's just what I would do. Will is in and says, I'm at the point where I want Skinner gone just for the sake of change. The narrative around him from the media, the team, and the fan base has become exhausting. When we had Mikko and Smith, everyone was clamoring for Skinner. And when he became an all-star, people still supported him. Now, the majority of the fan base wants him gone. It just feels like this has run its course. I mean, I also feel like this team just eats their goaltending. This fan base eats goaltending alive. Like, no one was happy with Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen, even though they put up great numbers.
Because we all have access to these random numbers people put on the internet, and then you go to another website and the numbers are different, and you go to another one and they're different. So everyone's a goalie expert. No one, the goalies have been bad, but it's like shit like that. It's like why the goalies are always top of the order because it's easier to go to natural stat trick and go, goalies.
Yeah.
Goal saved above expected. These numbers above 0. It must be good.
Chandler likes the Brossoit idea, so put him in my camp.
Okay.
CQ84, Mangiapane, Janmark, and Skinner need to go. That's 7.6 off the books. Plenty of cap space to get a goalie. I don't think that's 7.6. Maybe it's somewhat close. Either way, 2 of those guys would have to waive. So, nope. Freddie is in and says, before the injury to Hill, I would have said Schmid, but now I'm pretty much out of any goalie this season. Better to hunker down to whatever it takes at Nashville to get Saros in the summer. Interesting side thought. If we decided on re-signing Rodrigue, do you think he would have been called up by now? No. He's in the KHL.
Because if he would have been re-signed, I mean, actually, yes. If they had re-signed him, they clearly would have thought he was an NHL goalie.
Yeah, maybe.
But they didn't, so he's now in the KHL in Kazakhstan.
A bunch of letters is in. With the Oilers having their signing day after this game, these guys have given us 2 cup final runs. Let's give them back some love. Now on until we get a press conference Yeah. All right. Give it a try, sure. Daniel's in and says, I'm on it. All in on LB. I'm with Ty. Liam will join in. Buddy sandwiches and brewskis on me when Brossoit leads us to a cup. Can't say no to that, Liam. Brad says, I'm sure having a job like you guys have is great. Talking sports is having a good time every day. Seems like a dream job. Would you guys ever leave the Nation crew? Any bigger dreams of aspirations in the sports broadcasting world? Just curious. Bigger aspirations, buddy.
Buddy, I can't say that on air.
Make me... No, I'm kidding.
Unless you have an offer.
We're very lucky that we have a very popular Oilers show.
Mm-hmm.
We live the dream.
And like, I always laugh when people are like, don't you want to go to like Sportsnet or TSN one day? No.
I don't want to leave Edmonton. I'm too shy.
Well, and also like, I just want to talk Oilers. Wenzel is in and says, do we think every team in the NHL has caught on to how the Oilers play? Bigger teams know how to shut down our top two. They all know Skinner and our defense are weak. Maybe it's time to run a different system. We're becoming too predictable. Ryder's in and says, okay, on the picks going down thing, I don't know how we feel about Ingram's status, but have you heard from former goalies that he literally just commented the thing that Dubnyk said and then was sorry, I finished the Dubnyk interview. Couple more. Got a lot of these today. Holy. Steel Toe. Not sure who reads the stuff, but I just found out the Red Wings are giving away Zamboni gravy dishes. All right.
Sick.
Why? Don't I? Okay, sure. Trin is in and says, every time I comment, they don't read the comments. Read that one.
Wrong.
M. Tuck said, good luck growing a fan base calling your listeners morons, Tyler. As a first-time commenter, a little less ego could do you wonders. Enjoyed everyone else's commentary.
Oh, that's good.
Didn't call the listeners morons. Oh, that was someone else who said gross from thicker skin. I didn't call the listeners morons. I said the people who just sit there and like watch the game with their eyes closed, see that the Oilers lose 5-2 and are like, it's Evan Bouchard and Stuart Skinner's fault that they lost. Like, so I just said some people have too linear of a view of the team. And I think that's idiotic. So their takes are idiotic. The brash confidence from people who I think don't have a clue is what was driving me nuts.
Mm-hmm. That's why I don't use Twitter anymore.
Liam out on X.com.
Yeah. I use it on my laptop. Hockey X. I'm out on Hockey X.
Hashtag Hockey X. All right. We're going to get to our guest for today, Star Mechanical Guest Line, Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. You can find out more by visiting them online at starmechanical.ca. We're going to get the studio set up for Zach Laing, so bear with us. Give us 60 seconds, and we'll be right back. Back on the show, Zach Laing joining us from Oilersnation.com. Zach, appreciate you popping in. I'm about to make this question our Spotify question of the day so everyone can comment and we'll read them tomorrow. You're Stan Bowman. Kyle Dubas calls you, says Skinner and a 4th-round pick for Jarry at 50% retained. Do you do it?
Yeah.
You're at the point now with Stu where it's just better for everyone to have a fresh start?
Yeah, I am. I don't know. I am, but I'm not. I'm like oddly torn about it because I keep thinking back to like Devin Dubnyk and Skinner being the same age as Dubnyk was when the Oilers traded him away, and look at the success that Dubnyk had. But then when you think back to that too, it's like, well, it was clearly never going to work out for Dubnyk in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Like, that had played its course. Craig McTavish was basically ready to trade him at the start of that season. Is it a similar situation with Stuart Skinner now? I think that's the biggest question. Is there a path forward to him being the guy in Edmonton? And that's what I'm just not 100% certain of anymore. He's been good. He's helped the Oilers to 2 Stanley Cup finals, but it's been a pretty rough start to the season this year. I think the biggest issue that I have is I just don't know if there's anybody out there that's like super clearly an upgrade on Stuart Skinner.
And that's what Friedman kind of said is like, for a while the Oilers weren't making a move because there wasn't that bona fide upgrade out there on the market. And now they're kind of getting to a point where they're buying on the idea of change for the sake of change.
Yeah, and it's certainly something you got to think about. I mean, Again, you look at what Colorado did last year, and it's so easy to sit there and like reference back to that. But Liam and I were talking about this yesterday. Like Scott Wedgwood's numbers in Nashville before Colorado acquired him were terrible. Like they were abysmal numbers, as bad as Calvin Pickard's are this season. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Like maybe a change of scenery is what's needed. Maybe Jarry, who's had some good numbers to start the year this year, can kind of find another level. Maybe Binnington can turn back the clock a little bit. I don't really know.
Someone in the chat asked, why would Pittsburgh keep money? It was Brian. I would think they would keep money because they have two cheaper goalies and they can afford to do it.
Yeah, and if Jarry, so I just pulled up the Jarry buyout because I was going to read that question too, Liam. Good telepathic co-hosting.
Telepathic, Stranger Things. Stranger Things.
So good.
If the Penguins were to buy, so if they retain 50%, they basically are accepting Tristan Jarry is going to have a $2.7 million dead cap it for him for 2 more years after this one.
And they also don't have any dead cap, if I'm not mistaken.
No. If they were to buy him out, his cap hit for the next 2 years is 4.7 and 4.2, and then it's 2 more years of a $450,000 dead cap penalty on top of that. So it makes way more sense for them to trade him at 50% than it does to buy him out because the buyout sucks.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, is a 4th round pick enough for them to do that, though? That's the one thing that I wonder about.
I think it is because it's just, again, if it was worse than a buyout, like if retaining was worse than a buyout, then yeah, the Oilers probably had to pay a bit more. But like, I almost wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't even take the pick. Like, I just think it might straight up be Skinner for Jarry at 50% retained, and Pittsburgh just goes, you know what? This is way better than having the buyout on our books for 4 seasons.
Do we have any of the recent trade graphics, Aaron? I got Aaron and Pat to go and get some trade boards of goalie trades over the past few years. So obviously this was a Mackenzie Blackwood one that people remember so vividly. Mackenzie Blackwood, Smith, a 5th round pick. To Colorado, to San Jose was Gorgiev. Kovalenko, a 5th round pick and a 2nd round pick. The one I'm thinking of now, did I actually get the Jake Allen one? 50% retained on Jake Allen, which would have been like $1.85 million. And it was a 3rd round pick. If you're throwing Skinner in this deal too, for example, I think that probably gets the pick down lower just because of that.
Yeah, from a 3rd to a 4th, I could see.
Yeah, I think that would be my thought process and all of that.
Yeah, someone said, I think it's a huge gamble. That's your goalie for the rest of 97's 10 years. Jarry, not good. I would say not necessarily because you'll have Jarry at $2.7 million. If he's great, then you go searching for a 1A, 1B with him. If he's not great, he's a $2.7 million backup, and you can still go get Saros and have your goaltending be right around $10 million a year, which isn't egregious.
No, not at all. And I mean, that like 2.7, that's what, like $100,000 more than Skinner's making right now.
Yeah.
I think it's a fair bet. I mean, I think Jarry's probably the one who is most accessible right now, probably the easiest to trade for of the goalies that are out there, and somebody who has some legitimate upside. I know you guys were talking about maybe a Connor Ingram swap too for Pickard. Like, I'm kind of at this point with Calvin Pickard where it's like, what are we doing here?
I agree.
What's the point?
Like, what's the point? Like, are we really... Like, is the team that enamored with Calvin Pickard, the person, that they can just completely ignore the terrible numbers he's had this year? Like, I pulled this up on Twitter yesterday, and Boards, if you got it ready, if you could pull it up for me here too. Like, the numbers for Calvin Pickard are worse this year than they were for Jack Campbell when they did that swap 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Pickard has gotten a much longer leash and is posting worse numbers than Jack Campbell did in his 5 games back 2 years ago. So for me, it's like, well, what are we getting at here, right? Is, again, like, what's the most important thing? Is it winning a Stanley Cup, or is it having cool guys around the team and around the locker room? That's the thing that, like, I'm really kind of frustrated with, I guess, at this point in time, because it does feel like there needs to be some kind of a change in the crease. In the same breath, is Ingram even ready to step into the limelight in Edmonton, into this, complete pressure cooker we got going on here?
But if he's not, then like you got to find out, I think, too, right? Like,
totally.
If you wait until February to find out, and then you got to give him, February. That's the other thing that's actually really complicating in all of this, and it just kind of popped into my head now. Let's say you don't think he's ready now, and you're like, well, we'll wait till February. Well, February you play 2 games, and then it's the Olympic break. You come back from the Olympic break, and it's like, what, 5, 6, or 10 days until the deadline? Once February rolls around, you have 1, 2, because the deadline's on the 6th this year. You have 7 games from February 1 to the trade deadline, with a 3.5 week gap 3-week gap in the middle of it. You need to find out by January here if Ingram's going to be an answer for you. And maybe they are waiting till like Jan 1 and they'll bring him in. It's a busy month in January. They have 1-2 sets of back-to-back. So lots of opportunities for him to play. I'd like to know sooner rather than later because then you can get aggressive in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, can the Oilers really survive another month of this kind of goaltending that they're getting this year? That's the one thing that I'm wondering too, because, as it stands right now, they're on the outside looking in. The playoff chances are starting to drop. I know Dom at The Athletic had the Oilers at like 70% today, which is, absurd to see considering where they've been in the last number of years. So I don't know, man. They got to figure something out because it's clearly not working right now.
Throw that graphic up, Aaron. I just sent you. This is Tristan Jarry. Oh, well, that's his full face. No ear goals, which is really good to see.
Huge. We're a big ear goal show.
Even like the lowest number on there for podcast listeners is 78% on low glove, but everything else is like relatively respectable, to be honest, in comparison to what we've seen. And the other one, Aaron, this is where he's saving his save percentage from different points on the zone to compare to Stuart Skinner. Stuart Skinner is 69.8% in, we'll call that front of his crease, I guess you could say. He's also faced 106 shots in comparison to 51. So the difference is just in that area alone.
That's crazy.
I will say. He's played, Jerry played those 7 games. Skinner's played 17, 18, whatever it is. Skinner has a slightly better high slot save percentage, 86%. Jerry's at 85, but everything else is higher for Jarry.
Yeah, I'm talking myself into the Jarry thing too. I just feel like we're at that point now. But Binnington, are you out on him or are you out on Binnington? I mean, the money just almost makes it a non-starter, which is why I think the whole conversation is pretty funny.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, even if they retain 50% on Binnington, they still got to clear out like $3 million in cap space. Can you convince Andrew Mangiapane to waive his no trade clause?
Probably not.
Probably not. Ideally, I think it would be great if you could. I've been really disappointed with him this season. The money situation with Binnington is what makes it tough. And I found it weird in Kiprios' report the other day that the Oilers were also trying to get a defenseman out of St. Louis.
That didn't make a ton of sense
to
me.
It didn't, because they have no cheap defensemen that are like really good.
It would help, unless they replace Tucker with Regula. That's like the only logical switch.
Yeah. But like, I'm not an Alec Regula fan by any means.
No.
But Tyler Tucker is no better than Alec Regula is.
The only difference is he's just played more in the league.
Pretty much.
If there are rumblings that the Oilers are looking at a bigger deal, legitimately the only thing that makes sense, and I can't believe I'm saying this, maybe the Darnell Nurse relationship is really bad, right? Like and I don't think we're there, but like Mulek comments Nurse for Parayko. Like if the Oilers are talking about bigger trades and doing something insane, the only way it works is if Darnell Nurse is waving and going out the door. And like, again, we're not in the room. I don't know how high tensions are behind closed doors behind all of this, right? And there's no way. I don't even know why I said it.
But also, too, like, there's a lot of smoke. Like, the Oilers can't be looking at these, the conversation can't be the Oilers are looking for a defenseman. The Oilers have interest in this guy. And it's like, well, they have nothing to move unless one of these guys, doesn't necessarily have to be Nurse, is like, I'm good here. I'm out. I'll see you later. It's the only thing I don't know if it's going to happen either. It seems unlikely, but like, just reading between the lines, like, who else is going? Bouchard? No. Like, he's one of few guys that doesn't have a no trade. Like, someone would have to waive. And I just think these guys are talking too much, these insiders being like, oh, well, what about this guy? What about that guy?
I still wonder about Pittsburgh for Nurse. If we're going to have a brief conversation about it, it makes sense. Like, they're having a good start to the year. The Kyle Dubas relationship, Nurse still gets to play with, some of the best players in the world and guys like, Crosby and Malkin, Letang, Carlson.
They're also competitive right now.
They're very competitive right now, right? Like, I think that could be a path. It's out east. It's closer to, where all of his family is in Ontario and stuff like that. That would be an interesting one if, like, somehow it did happen. I wonder, too, if, like, how tense things are. And I think you make a really good point on that, Tyler, because I think we've seen for the last, probably calendar year here, especially around Darnell Nurse, is like the tensions, it feels like are rising across the board.
Yeah.
Like think back to the playoffs last year, right? Where, like Darnell Nurse was landing on trade boards that Insiders
Yeah.
had. And
I forgot Frank had him on, didn't
Frank
he?
had him
he
on, right? Like Frank was pretty visceral in talking about Darnell Nurse too, right? So, you got to wonder, like, they don't just throw guys' names on there for no reason, right?
There was that one night too where there was like pure speculation that he was gone.
Yeah.
And then he did the "Why are you always lying" thing on his
Yeah.
Instagram. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. Here's an interesting wrinkle to it. I think there's a lot of people who love, like, we have comments, Nurse for Carlson, Nurse for Carlson. The value isn't equal there, but like, and I'm trying to do rough back of the napkin math right now, but if they kept 50% on Jarry and they gave you Carlson, you are at roughly 12.8 that you need off the books right now. So you're pretty close with Skinner's full cap it and Nurse's full cap it going out the boards. But what if Pittsburgh said, whoa, we're not letting you off the hook on this Darnell Nurse deal. You're taking Ryan Graves. And there was like a Graves Kulak component to it where you're like Graves' contract sucks, but at least it sucks at $4.5 million. The buyout's a little ugly, but like, again, it's $4.5 million, not $9 million. I wonder, like, what if Dubas and Bowman are just sitting there being like, you know what? Change for the sake of change. Like, everyone's so mad at Darnell Nurse all the time. You can't help but feel for the guy and wonder if it's like wearing down on him pretty hard. And again, if you're Dubas and you're like, man, a fresh face in here, get this Graves contract off the books, free up a little bit of actual cash because we got Jarry out and we're now not paying him or having to buy him out. Like, my point is these teams both have no shortage of bad contracts they could be swapping with each other. And maybe the Graves thing is a little Neil for Lucic-esque where you just go like, yeah, fuck it, we'll buy him out.
What's he got left on his contract?
4 years.
Three more years after
more
this
years,
one at
sorry,
4
$4 million.
4.5.
That is a tough one to swallow.
But you could buy him out. So, like, here's the way I'll frame it. If you buy him out, the cap hit only goes down to $3.5 million for the next 3 years. Then it's a $500K penalty for a few after that. But, like, if right now you could buy out Darnell Nurse at this cost, you would do it.
But
Yeah.
isn't the whole salary? How does the playoff salary cap work into that now? Because then you would just have $3 million plus Jack Campbell Santos, and you have $5 million in nobody.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. Like, signing up, or maybe you think Graves is fine on your third pairing. I don't know.
Or
Probably.
maybe you figure out a way to flip him later in the year or next summer to San Jose or something
keep
like
50
that. Right?
and then it's still dead money, but like he's out the door. And again, like you can start to move this blue line around a little bit. We're really far down the rabbit hole now. We are via GMing very hard.
I love it.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing to do too. This is the kind of stuff that like when I say with my buddies, this is what we talk about. Like
I just think there's so much noise about the Oilers right now. It's hard not to talk about it so much. Like something's happening.
Something has to happen, right? I mean, like, you think back to Tuesday's game too, right? It's the lone NHL game on the schedule. All eyes are on that game, right? It's a 7:00 Mountain Time start, 9:00 Eastern. Everybody that is a hockey fan like was watching that game, right? And the Oilers put up like the stinkiest of stinkers.
Yep.
Like, and it's the second time in a month they've been blown out on home ice. Like something has to give here, right? And I think something that we also got to think about too is like, how patient is Daryl Cates?
not patient to answer it. Traditionally speaking, relatively impatient.
Like he has been an owner who has shown he is impatient. He wants this bad, right? You know, how much does that play into it? Is he in the year of Jeff Jackson and Stan Bowman and all this kind of stuff too? Like you kind of got to wonder, right? So I do agree though. Like it feels like something has to happen. There has to be some kind of a transaction. Like even if it's just something as small as like Pickard for Ingram right now.
Yeah, I think even just anything. Like people are yelling at Stan Bowman because he's sitting on his hands, but they also forgot he got Jack Roslovic in the middle of a hockey game.
Yeah,
like he's not just sitting there.
He's not a sit on his hands.
He's shown he's not doing that. He's trying to make things work as best he can. You got Jack Roslovic for $1.5 million.
You know, you think back to last year even, right? Waiver claim on Kasperi Kapanen around this time last year. Signs John Klingberg in January. He's shown to be aggressive.
Ingram retained by Utah.
Yeah.
Like these aren't nothing moves. Yeah. Every move he has made, I think, has been good. In the sense of like Mangiapane and Frederick are currently not working out, but I don't think they were bad bets to make.
Yeah, Frederick, 8 years
sure,
already sucks.
that one's but on the individual player itself. Like,
you were just kind of looking at it, and I agree with you. Like looking at his even strength numbers, looking at Mangiapane's even strength numbers, it was like they were supposed to be getting better players than what they're currently getting.
Yes, and they're just not. They've not shown up at all.
It's so frustrating that this keeps happening. Like, it's so frustrating that the Oilers go out and, like, acquire a player who's good somewhere. Like, Victor Arvidsson. He was great with LA. He was solid with Nashville. And he was just an absolute shell of himself here. I mean, it's been happening so many times over the last number of years, 5-10 years, where these guys come to town and it's just they're nowhere near the player that they've been the other times in their career. It's so weird.
Sergeant Battle made a great point. Jake Wallman was on nobody's trade board besides ours.
Yeah, we pumped
and
him
then
up.
they went and got him. Like, he's actually made a lot of good moves. The two under summer haven't worked out so far. But everything else, you got to kind of stand by him a little bit. This team is playing awfully. And they're still somehow in a decent-ish spot. Decent's a harsh, big word for it.
Rob says he's not sitting on his hands. He has no money, and every bleeping guy has a no movement clause. Well, granted, he's given out some of those no movement clauses, so that's a part of the issue as well. But all right, let's move on because this team is going to play hockey again eventually. Saturday, to be exact, as they'll take on the Seattle Kraken. Here's an update from Tony Brar. Kapanen was hurt, left the ice. No update from Knobloch. Again, if you saw the video Rashog put out, not good. Kasperi Kapanen did not seem like a guy who's just going to be ready to go on Saturday. Again, lengthy rehab for him. If you want to look at a little bit of silver lining here, not that you wanted Kasperi Kapanen to get hurt, but this does help with their LTIR roster squeeze kind of thing. If you don't have to activate Kapanen, you're pretty much good to go right when Nuge returns, right?
Yeah, they can activate him without having to send anybody down.
Nuge?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be activated. He's on the active roster.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But like, you can bring him off IR and you don't have to send anyone down.
Right. Is he even on IR?
Yeah, he is on IR.
Is he? Okay.
So the Nuge thing, that'll work out just fine. You can't take Connor Clattenburg out of this lineup, right?
No.
There's no shot.
No, you can't. I mean, like, the fact that a 20-year-old fifth-round pick from 2 years ago who has been known as a tough guy his entire career, who has never really put up offense at any point in his career, comes in and is, like, the best player on home ice against the Dallas Stars. Like, oh, man, that was pretty indicative of, like, where this team is at. The goal was great. I thought it was a great goal, really nice to see. I think there's a player there with Clattenburg. I really do. And if he even just goes out, like, and plays 10, 12 minutes a night the exact same way that he did against Dallas, I have no problem with him being, the 12th forward or, 14th forward or whatever it is.
He scored, and we were laughing that on that goal, there were 3 Oilers within 4 feet of the blue paint. Haven't seen that a lot this year.
Yeah, absolutely, right? I mean, I think I like it. I think you got to keep him up, right? Who goes down is the next biggest question. It's going to have to be a forward. Probably Curtis Lazar.
I think it has to be Tomasek.
Maybe Tomasek.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, for the money reason. I
think the money, yeah.
You clear up a full 1.1, and also he doesn't need waivers, so it's a pretty seamless move if you want to make it.
Yeah. Also, he might just go back to Europe. If they send him down, he might just go.
There were some rumblings that maybe they had like one of the, handshake agreements that like, we won't put you in Bakersfield, we'll trade you somewhere else. But like, I don't know. And maybe a team like Columbus or someone who needs scoring help would take him. But I also think the Oilers could look at him and be like, hey, shit's not going how we thought it was. I know we promised you we wouldn't send you to the American League, but
you're not playing well enough.
And it's for a month, like even if you're right, just tell them like we're gonna put you in Bakersfield for 3 weeks and then we'll have a conversation. But
he has been a bit better, but enough of this friendship shit. Like, you're not gonna send down Pickard because everyone's buddies with him. You have a handshake agreement. Sorry, Vegas Golden Knights aren't making handshake agreements with anyone.
No, yeah, you're right.
You're signing his contract, and we own you. And we're gonna dictate what happens here because we run this business now. You do not.
Tony says Nuge and Lazar both cleared, both expected to be in the lineup against Seattle on Saturday. So, Aaron, I don't know if you have the DFO lines kind of handy here. Roslovic is questionable, so that is the one thing that could maybe throw a wrinkle into this. Clattenburg, again, speculating on the point of a few reporters down at the rink that maybe Clattenburg was just a placeholder for a guy like Roslovic. But again, like if Roslovic is ready to go, I honestly think it's Trent Frederick who should come out. If Roslovic plays, he bumps Clattenburg down and Frederick comes out.
But Kapanen, right?
Roslovic
fills in
right.
for Kapanen.
Yeah, you're right.
There's no reason for Jack Roslovic to be anywhere besides the top 6 in this lineup.
And I like him more with Leon than I do with Connor. I think he's very good with Leon.
Yeah.
Also, I think Mangiapane should be the one that comes out. I think it was quite telling that I think Frederick finished with the lowest time in ice, but was injured earlier in the game. And Mangiapane, again, -2, and had 8 minutes with 2 forwards who were injured.
Yeah.
Like, he's the one that should come out of the lineup.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's a message to send. Like, again, we talk about accountability. It's a buzzword, whatever. But, like, if Chris Knobloch wants to wake up this room a little bit, looking at a guy like Andrew Mangiapane and being like, up you go to the press box. Like, St. Louis healthy scratches Jordan Kyrou. Other teams do that. Like, if you're not pulling your weight, if you're maybe a little bit too complacent, Frederic Mangiapane, in my opinion, either one of them can sit because I like the message it sends to that room that, like, you're getting your job taken by, as you said, a 20-year-old fifth-round draft pick who's played 2 games, and we right now deem him better at helping us win than we do the guy we gave an 8-year contract to.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, Frederick is not far away from Mangiapane. I mean, neither of them are wrong answers.
Do you got another 15 minutes to stick around?
Sure do.
All right. Well, then we're going to keep going with a bunch of this stuff. Our first trade board of the year is up at dailyfaceoff.com. Matt Larkin kind of spearheading this thing this year, talking with a few people. It's an interesting group. I think we're starting to, and maybe 3 weeks ago, it didn't seem like we'd get to this point, but we are starting to get some interesting sellers emerging. Vancouver is one of them. I think a lot of people talk Kiefer Sherwood. The one I kind of forgot about, honestly, and I talked with Penyota today on DFO Live about it. I kind of forgot about Rasmus Andersson in Calgary. Like, he's a guy who has to get traded this year. And he had a quote the other day where he kind of said, like, whatever is going to happen. He's not an Edmonton fit, obviously, but Rasmus Andersson is an interesting name that I'd kind of forgotten about on the trade market.
Yeah, that's going to be, I'm curious to see what happens there for sure. I mean, he's been on quite a heater with Calgary so far this year. Offensively, I don't even know exactly what it is, but he's been like a point per game for the last like 10 or 15 games here. So the value's going up for him, to say the very least. Yeah, I'm curious to see where he lands too. I mean, Vegas is interesting. I think that makes sense. You know, the smoke around Toronto, obviously that makes sense with Tree Living and stuff like that too. That's probably one of the bigger names I think that's out there right now.
Let's say the Oilers sort out their goaltending without, and I mean, this is tough because they're pretty dollar in, dollar out the rest of the way, but like, let's say they sort out their goaltending at some point, and it's Skinner for Jarry, you have a Jarry-Ingram duo, whatever it ends up being. What becomes, and if you had to guess, because we're projecting a little bit here, what becomes need number one once goaltending is sorted out?
Top 6 forward.
You're on that train?
I'm all aboard. Choo-choo.
What do you think, Zach?
Somebody to replace Alec Regula. That's probably the one for me.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Like top 6, I feel like it's starting to work itself out. You got Zach Hyman back. Matt Savoy seems to have a spot alongside, McDavid on the top line. I think a third line scoring winger is probably something they could use as well, which is exactly what Mangiapane was supposed to be for the team this year. Evidently, again, that hasn't worked out. That's kind of where I look, though. I think the blue line and then maybe like a third line scorer.
I just think with the top 6, I wonder if you can just have a third line that's Hyman and Nuge and blank forward. And that's kind of my idea.
Can you pull up the DFO lines again?
Or if it's maybe you get a third line center and Nuge is playing on your left wing and Savoy's further down the lineup, like something along those lines. So top 6 forward, that's kind of my thought process about it. It's like, you look at Florida last year, that third line, Brad Marchand changed their whole team because of what he's able to do. And what was it, Lundell and whoever the other was, Listerine, I think, right?
Well, it is interesting that they've been running Hyman on the third line the last couple games too.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
At least to start, and then Knobloch does his Knobloch thing with the lines, right? But it feels like they're trying to see if that might be a thing that works. I mean, we've seen Nuge and Hyman have success. I'd be curious to look up or to pull up their numbers like without McDavid on the ice and see how they have performed over the last couple of years. But yeah, I see what you're saying there.
Score as many goals as you can. Because evidently you cannot keep them out of the net.
It's an interesting approach. So in the tier 1 obvious trade candidates, if you were looking for defensemen on this list, Justin Falk's too expensive, and I don't think he's the kind of D-man I necessarily want the Oilers to get. Brandon Carlo in Toronto, who his cap hit is lower because I think it's been retained one time by the Boston Bruins. Like, how much is Toronto actually paying him right now?
I'll look for you.
3.4.
3.4.
That Carlos may be a little bit interesting. In terms of Mario Ferraro is probably the one who fits the description the best, right? In terms of like a pretty complete D-man, relatively low cap hit, pending UFA, so you get him to eat 50% and you can squeeze him in. Something around Mario Ferraro coming in, I think would really improve this blue line.
Yeah, I could get behind that for sure. Kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. Brock and I on our DFO DFS hockey show we do, we always call him a shot block god because the guy just eats rubber for a living. Blocks a ton of pucks. That's certainly an element to his game I like. I don't mind that idea at all. I mean, I thought, funny enough, he was the guy the Oilers were going to go for last year before they snagged Jake Wallman. You know, the relationships there between Bowman and Greer, I could see that.
Yeah, I don't hate that idea either. And I think also those players that, would he have played in the playoffs maybe early in his career?
I don't think so.
No, either way, like a guy who hasn't sniffed it for years, if he had played a few.
Yeah.
Come with a little extra motivation.
He's never played in the playoffs.
Never played? Okay. I wasn't sure if he caught the back end of that little run they had.
The next group of guys, and this is where I think there's a few interesting names for the Oilers, like Kiefer Sherwood. My concern with Kiefer Sherwood is, one, a hot start to the year has him a little overvalued, and I think a bunch of teams are going to be in love with this guy, especially because if Vancouver keeps 50%, like, that is a big positive asset, especially if you want to talk about the new playoff cap thing.
Yeah.
If you have Kiefer Sherwood at $750K, that's a big plus. So that is a part of it. But and let's just say the cost is equal. What it takes to get Sherwood at 50% retained is also what it takes to get Boone Jenner at 50% retained. Which one are you going for?
Probably Sherwood.
Really?
I think Sherwood too.
Why?
I think he's just got a little bit more bite to him, and I think the Oilers miss that a lot. And I think, I don't even know what his analytics are or anything like that, but looking at his stats, he had 19 goals last season. Yes, raging hot start this year, 12 goals. But it also shows me that he can get red hot and keep it going. Mm-hmm. Connor Brown was unreal for the Oilers in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Because he was physical, and he was scoring goals, and he had a bite. What if that's just Kiefer Sherwood?
He's physical. He's such a physical player, and that's just an element the Oilers have absolutely none of. Like, this is why we're talking about Connor Clattenburg staying in the lineup right now, right? You know, I think Boone Jenner's best years are certainly behind him at this point in his career. Yeah, okay, him being a center maybe adds a little bit more versatility to things, but again, you know, the ability for Sherwood to put up some offense last year, carry it over into this season here. The physicality, I think, for me, is the big separator there, though.
Yeah, for me, I like the positional versatility a little bit. Like, Liam, you were talking about, do you move Nuge to the wing? Yeah. Could you move Rico to the wing? Could you have 4 really, really good centermen? I just worry, like, it probably will cost a first-round pick for either one of those guys, though.
In the same breath, too, though, like, I agree with the versatility. I think it's a good thing. Don't you think this roster is versatile enough as it is?
We have like 20 centers, it feels like.
You've got David Tomasek, you've got Curtis Lazar. They're both playing on the wings. Yeah. Frederick can play up the middle. Henrique, Nuge. You know, that's a lot of guys competing for 2 spots. And the thing is like, nobody's really, like, holding it down. I mean, Henrique has been probably the most consistent center.
I've liked his game this year, actually.
Yeah, I have, too. I haven't really had any issues with Henrique. So I think that's fine there. I don't know.
I think another layer to this, too, as we look through players who they could acquire, I want them to get guys who currently have confidence.
Yeah.
Like, Brandon Carlo, I think last season would have been a good time to get him, but you're getting damaged goods. They already have 20 skaters who are damaged goods right now. 19. Connor Clattenburg, I won't throw him in that group. But it's just like they need guys who are going to come in and show a bit of spark. And someone like Sherwood could maybe do that. Maybe a Mario Ferraro, like you said, like someone who's desperate for the action, like wants to be part of something bigger. And I think both those guys could maybe bring that to the team.
Yep, that's fair. I think that was kind of it. There was a few names, like Alex Tuck, right? If Alex Tuck shakes loose, the Oilers aren't going to be the only contender who are sitting there being like, boy, Alex Tuck would certainly make us better. I think, again, the market for Sherwood's going to be huge. Owen Tippett's interesting because he's got a ton of term on him at $6.2 million.
And he's good.
Yeah.
That's a summertime thing, though, I think.
Probably, yeah.
Could be, yeah. Shooter. Good volume for him.
Yeah.
Something that's nice.
Yeah.
Talbot
always seems to beat the Oilers, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, ironically, as I say that, I remember he was the one who went offside when we played them.
Yeah,
it's
he
been
is.
a couple of years since the Oilers have had a Tippett on the team, so
maybe that's the missing piece. All right, there you go. You can read the full piece up at dailyfaceoff.com. Let's do a little what's trending for our friends at Oodle Noodle. You can take advantage of the value menu deal by adding 2 green onion cakes, 5 spring rolls, or 6 wontons to your order for just $2. Any signature premium box in-store or takeout only. Online orders at oodlenoodle.ca. Zach, what's your go-to Oodle Noodle right now? What are you vibing?
Gil It's always been the go-to.
Really?
Yeah, that is a good one.
It's so versatile. You've got like the vermicelli noodles in there. You get a couple of spring rolls. You get your protein in there, nice and saucy. Extra sauce is the key for that dish, though.
Interesting.
Is that right? My fiance, she ventured around the udon noodle menu and stuck to what is it called?
Bun Chia Gyo.
Bun Chow Go. So I'll let her know. But what sauce is it? Is it
I
a
don't even know
peanut
what it is.
sauce?
It's kind of like a peanutty teriyaki
Yeah, the peanut
kind of
sauce.
sauce.
Okay, good to know. Extra
good.
sauce.
I might have to stop on my way home.
I was
now.
going to say, might be having that tonight.
Also, one thing we did miss when we were doing our report from practice, Wallman skated earlier today.
Oh, thank God.
Which is good. Louis said earlier in the week that he was in a walking boot, and it was like, oh shit, how bad is it? The fact he's skating, that is a good, encouraging sign for the Oilers because they miss Jake Wallman.
Yeah, they definitely need him. They miss what Jake Wallman needs to become.
Yeah. They miss Jake Wallman at his best.
Yeah.
All right, what's trending? How about the Toronto Blue Jays dishing out a nice, cool $210 million contract for Dylan Cease, $30 million a year. Cease has finished top 5 in NL Cy Young voting in 2 of the last 4 seasons for the San Diego Padres. He throws the ball hard as shit. He strikes out a ton of batters. He pitches and does not get hurt. He's extremely durable. And the Jays make the first big move of the MLB offseason.
Awesome. I absolutely love it. I'm fired up. I was stunned yesterday when it came across the timeline that they nabbed Cease. I wasn't expecting that whatsoever. This is a huge get for the Jays. They needed another guy in the starting rotation here. Like, look at that rotation. Like, that is unbelievable, right? We'll see what happens with Jose Barrios, right? Like, it feels like, his time in Toronto could be coming to an end here. But boy, that is a nasty rotation. Maybe like to see a lefty in there just to mix it up a little bit. But like, boy, that's awesome. Like, the strikeout upside for Cease is what's really exciting for me. Because, Gosman is a strikeout guy, but, those numbers have kind of dwindled over time. Getting another guy up there that dominates in that sense of the term, huge move for the Jays.
The other side of it, I don't have much baseball expertise, if any at all. But there is probably a risk on Trey Savage, no? Like, you don't really know what he is yet.
It's not guaranteed that he's an ace next year.
Yeah. So, I don't know anything about Dylan Cease besides his name's Dylan Cease, and they paid him a lot of money. Probably good to have the insurance there, I would think.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
I also, like you mentioned, Barrios' future with the team. If you find someone who'll take him, which a team probably would, he's not like incredibly expensive or anything like that. And I know he's coming off a down year, but I think my dream might be you find a taker for Barrios and then you re-sign Bassett.
Yeah, I could get behind that. What happens with Max Scherzer? That's the one thing that I'm wondering about.
I don't want to go to that well again. I worry about it. He's old. He's old. I love him, and it was great. But like even in the playoffs, when it was like his first start, which came against Seattle, we were all like, "Come on, Max, give us one more." And then like he went and gave us one more, and then you get to the World Series, and it was kind of like, "Okay, Max, give us one more," and he did. And like I don't know if I want to do that again next year.
I just think like, even if he doesn't pitch a ton for you or, kind of becomes a long arm out of the bullpen sort of a thing, the vibes with him were just so incredibly high. Like, the guy has so much fire and so much passion.
Yeah.
I think it was a really big addition this year to the team. He probably would have liked to see him pitch a little bit more in the regular season and stuff like that. But from that perspective, I loved it. If he's the 6th man in a rotation sort of a thing, long arm, I'm all here for it. His hit with Nick Alberga the other day in Jay Rosehill was so fascinating. It
was really good.
There was so much of like the we and are that he was saying. It was like, is there already a contract signed here that we're not hearing about? Like, what's going on?
Maybe he'll do what Bieber did and Scherzer, but you know what? I just want to be a part of it. You want me out at $5 million, like something crazy, and he's like, just let me come back and compete again.
Maybe he just becomes the number 2 pitching coach behind Pete Walker.
Yeah,
Be the mentor for your Savage because I think they both got some of that psycho pitcher in them.
Yeah.
I'd like to build on that.
Liam, touchdown Lions.
I saw Isaac Tesla.
I like that.
Amon-Ra is out for the game.
Well, no.
I don't like that.
No, it's
Yeah,
bad.
we're getting beat up right now.
Already building a new parlay.
There was also, obviously I'm not listening with sound here, but there was a clear false start. And then somehow it got waved off and Green Bay scored a touchdown. And now I'm trying to get stuff on Twitter, but obviously can only get so much. But there was a comment earlier there from Peyton Small. I'll read it. I don't know if it's true, but I'll read it. Skinner said on TSN, I need to be better for this group. We won't be staying with the current positional style leaving top corners always. That has to be fake.
Yeah, I don't think.
God
that's real.
damn it!
I think you got duped, Liam, again. A couple super chats we needed to catch up on, by the way. Bob dropped one in, $13. Said Jarry was at a 9.38 save percentage. Now he's at a 9.11. That's better than Saros this season. Is it possible that they say goalies can get better with age? He's only 30. Yeah, I mean, the idea that like Jarry did something this summer and like rebuilt his game a little bit, that's totally possible. That's why I'm not like totally out on the idea. Like, there's a world where he's a good goalie for the Oilers, so I don't mind the Jarry talk. QF Pro said there is a thing called YouTube Giving, which allows donations to go straight to an eligible 501 U.S. nonprofit. That's too taxy for me. Explain more. YouTube even covers the transaction costs. I don't think Ben Stelter Fund qualifies. So maybe we'll have to look into that a little bit more. Maybe there's a Canadian version of it, because it is kind of BS that they take a cut out of the money you guys donate. Anyways, what else do we want to do for what's trending, Liam? Is that kind of everything?
You Stranger Things fan, Zach?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
All right,
good.
well, I'll let you guys
How much
talk.
did you watch?
I'm 2
All of it.
episodes.
I did too.
God damn
I watched
it.
all of it.
How much was it?
I'm 2
It was like
episodes
4.5
in.
hours.
Yeah, I'm 2 episodes in, but I got this TV from my buddy a few years ago. I don't have Netflix, but somehow this TV is just permanently logged into Netflix. And I asked him, I was like, "Oh, hey, like, is your dad or something like logged into Netflix?" Like, this guy's name I won't say. I don't want to take it away. Yeah. He's like, "Nope, don't know what that is. I'd never."
Who? There's no name on the account?
It is, and it's no one. I told him the name. He's like, "I don't know what that is." So I just have this Netflix account.
Does whoever has access to the account, are they watching shit too?
Oh yeah.
So you see what they're watching?
Yeah. Where they watch.
So they're paying like double for another house then.
So sorry about that.
Shout out.
I don't really watch it. I literally want to watch Stranger Things. Is all I watch. I'm a big Crave guy.
Right.
So
Crave is the elite.
I'm 2 episodes in. We won't spoil it for anyone, but I'm already like, holy smokes! This is like, you see all these series all the time because it's been 3 years since season 4 came out, and they're all wrong.
Yeah.
They're all wrong. Yeah. And it's awesome. It's such a good show.
I really tried to avoid all of that stuff leading up to it. Like, I didn't even watch like really any of the trailers or anything like that. I think I watched one of them maybe, but I wanted to just kind of go in and experience it as my own. That's the way that I kind of like to go.
I had to watch a 20-minute recap yesterday before I kicked it off at 6 p.m. Crushed all 4. I said to Liam, the show just says I have such high expectations, and every year they knock it out of the park. Not every year. Every time they do it, they just kill it.
Absolutely impressed with 4 episodes. Boardsy, we'll have to have a little powwow.
Yeah, let's powwow after
Well, we
this.
can talk about the first 2 episodes, and I'll just leave.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm going to go home because my fiance doesn't like to watch them. It is a bit of a creepy show.
Oh, yeah.
And certain things, like in the last season, they're literally like snapping people's bones in front
Ew.
of you through telepathy.
There's some even more interesting moments coming up. And we'll just leave it at that.
You need to get home and watch so we can discuss.
No,
them
that's
all.
what I mean. I'm going to go home and watch before she gets home. Then I can just watch Pop Culture Jeopardy or something with her instead.
Perfect.
All right, boys. I think we're going to wrap up a little bit early. Shout out to our friends at Bet365, by the way. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. No NHL games tonight. NFL Lions live line plus 160.
No, don't hit that.
Okay, we're going to stay away from that. Chiefs Cowboys. Chiefs 3-point favorites.
Cowboys.
The over.
Yeah, I kind of like the over. Bengals Ravens. Joe Burrow back in the mix.
Bengals spread.
Bengals plus 7. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Zach, anything you like?
Give me the Chiefs. Give me the Ravens on the spread.
Ooh. He's the anti-Liam.
Did you just reverse me?
Yeah, he did.
Just wanted to be contrarian.
Okay, fair enough.
Zach, thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me, boys.
There you go, boys. That is a wrap on today's edition of the program. Everybody in the YouTube chat, thank you as always for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. A trade, maybe? You never know.
If there is a trade, we will go live.
Yeah, we'll go live before the show. If there's a trade tonight, we'll go live at some point. But anyways, that's a wrap on today's edition of the show. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you all back here tomorrow, noon Mountain. Oil up. What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Everyday, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.